Testing. Testing. Let me see, what are those committees?
We made so many different changes to that ordinance, that's all. So, one in your package is the old one. Yeah, the one in your package is the old one, the one, I sent you. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, there's two different, I sent that to you when I sent it to you. So there's two different, there's actually four different versions. Just looking at it, because you want to know. Yeah, we'll look it up for you. Sure. And I know that there were several different.
Morning, afternoon, Mayor. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. That clock up there is not right. It is 7:04. Okay. Today is February the 17th, 2026, and this is a committee of the whole meeting, and I would like to call it to order at 7:04 p.m.
Trustee Burns, Trustee Sauk, absent. Trustee Sherman, Trustee Johnson, Trustee Jones, and Trustee Dr. Winston is absent at the moment. And Seth is absent with notice.
This is the meeting that you said you would do. No, it was the rest. So she asked you.
She didn't contact me to remind me that she wasn't going to be there. I thought it was for last week.
No, all of that back and forth was for this week, so she's probably remember that we asked and gave it to her. We have established that we have a quorum. However, more than a you don't have a meeting packet, is what you're saying.
Powers, look up. Everybody else has a meeting packet? The meeting packet is very thin. Yeah, it's very, very thin. So you might miss it with all the other stuff. Here, I'll just give you this better stuff. Here you go. And one day we won't. And I'll be thankful for it.
Okay, we've had roll call, and more than a week ago, Trustee Winston provided notice that she had a meeting, a mandatory meeting at her job but that she is traveling this way. So she asked if she could sign on remotely and as she's traveling this way. I am asking, what's your pleasure? Does it mean okay? Okay, well, we have a majority. We have 3 of the 4 present. So we are going to go ahead and get started so that we can hear from our first discussion and presentation, and that is Brandy Williams, and she has a proposal for Sauk Village, reaching out and declutter. Can she have you're going to sit up here, and can someone give her a mic? And you just have to talk into the mic on top of it.
Thank you. Okay, the first proposal that I'm presenting is under helping hands, reaching out to the community.
We still can't hear you, ma'am. I'm sorry. You might have to speak up just a little bit louder.
So
So then would you talk loud for us today?
Yeah, you have to talk loud.
okay, the one thing I'm going to do is, when helping hands, reaching out to the community, when your hands are closed, you can't give or receive. So I'm asking our community to open their hands and reach out to each one of them and help each other.
Still can't hear us.
Still can't hear.
She needs to hold the mic closer.
Act like you're in a football field.
No. She needs to hold the mic closer.
Thank you, okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. When your hands are closed, you can't give or receive. So I'm asking our communities to open your hands and reach out and help others. The first one that I have on is that for our food banks, with all our food insecurities, is that the village hall will send out letters with our water deals listing the food banks that are in our area where residents can contribute. If we can collectively give, we'll have more than what they need. We can't do it by ourselves, we all have to give. Personally, I've chosen the months of April, May, and June for my giving because we after our heating season, which the bills are high. But again, if you have 100 people giving 100 cans of food, 1 can apiece, that's 100 more than what they pay. And then not only own, like I said, just at least reach out and let them know what we like to do. Any questions or comments? Okay, the next one is decluttering your living space. Nothing is for sale, everything will be for gift. With this, I will ask that our trustees help to secure a location for the event. I come up with the date of May 18th, which is a Saturday after Mother's Day. The hours will be from 8 to 10 to set up, from 10 to 2 for the residents or community to pick up the items. Anything that is not picked up will be donated to the Salvation Army, which will help our vets. And with that, I will need someone to help me send out letters to the faith leaders in our community so they can let their congregation know what we're doing, so we can get as many people involved as we possibly can. And that's what my proposal is, and I think it's a good idea, and I want to see if I get some support.
Yes, Trustees Sterling.
For the declutter is
Items in your home, like,
like clothes, shoes, jackets, whatever.
Household items, infant clothing to adult clothing. You can bring, anything that someone can pick up and carry by themselves, because of course, we don't want to bring tables and chairs and we can't do anything with those items. But again, if you just come, when we set up, if you see something on the table, it's yours. Just go ahead and take it, it's yours, and then the rest of the one is trying to decluttering. And we will give people things that they can will possibly need without having to go spend additional monies.
Trustee Johnson.
Is there any way that you can have this stuff in writing for us?
Yes, I can. I don't have a computer or internet. Okay, I know. This is all the time. But I can definitely, before I can work on that. If I can get that, I can write it out and somebody can type it up for me. So I was hoping we speak, someone here that's not here can speak related and to help me with that. With the exchange, I can exchange my information with that. But again, in the meantime, I can't see if I can reach out to someone.
Trustee Burns?
Thank you. Now, Helping Hands, have you worked with the village before?
Helping Hands, the name I came up with because I have people maybe about something like that. Helping Hands reaching out.
Okay. And then you need, so you will be doing this April, May, and June
April, May, and June is the days I've chosen to do my donations to our food.
for the food banks. And then for the giving,
The decluttering.
the decluttering.
Our spaces,
Yes.
I came up with May 17th, this is Saturday, first Saturday, this Saturday after Mother's Day.
Okay.
The hours from 8 a.m. to 10 for us to set up. All you need is a table and your iron.
Oh, it's 8 to 10. I had 10 to 2. I don't
No,
know.
10 to 2 is for pickup.
Yeah, 18 to 17.
7 is, actually 16.
It's the
It's
16.
the 16th, Saturday's on the 16th.
So 10 to 2 is pickup and 8 to 10. Now, what is the 8 to 10?
For us to set up, so let's
Set up.
Okay.
And then you say you need a place to,
We need a location. Once we secure a location,
okay.
then that's when I'd like to send out the letters to our faith leaders, so they can let them know what's going on with the community, so they can just move to as we can.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Will people need to bring their own tables?
Yes, it should be.
Tables and
We
chairs.
can have a table or our table. I have 2 extra tables myself, so if someone needs a table, I can't put them in my car and they can use them. So altogether, I have to do one for myself and 2 of the housekeepers.
So what is it that you want from the trustees?
I need a location. We have to have somewhere we can just have it set up.
So would you want it to be an outdoor event?
Yes, definitely. I think it would be more, especially when it can't be cold.
Well, we have the complete Veterans Park there. In this parking lot over here, though, we've had garage sales, village-wide garage sales where the lines are. That's where the tables would be set up and people walk up and down the aisle.
Okay, what about parking?
Then they would park over on this side and behind the police station.
Well, if it's agreeable with the board, I wouldn't mind coming here for the people. We've got a big schedule.
Oh, thank you so much.
So you think that's- if the board agrees, it's good.
Thank you. May I ask, shall this progress to, does it need to go to the board next week for a vote? What's your pleasure? We don't have anything. Yes.
It's not a,
Well, there's really actually nothing to vote on because there is no documentation, there's nothing to sign. But I'm willing to do your pleasure.
sounds like Clerk Williams will help her. Sounds like a personal endeavor, and she's just asking our assistants to use facilities that the village have. And Trustee Williams is going to prepare the paperwork. It's a good thing. I'll help in any way that I can, according to my availability.
Will we be able to allow her to use the space without a rental? So that she's, yeah, if it's in the Pazel, if it's in the park, then we usually rent that space. And so I'm just saying, can we waive those fees?
Well, I need to make it clear, is it going to be in the park or the parking lot? I heard someone say parking lot.
I said either one of those locations, so I think that this was just sprung on her just now, so I think we should allow her an opportunity to look at each of the sites and then to decide what's her preference.
Okay, my preference would be, don't make me get it, it's not about using money. I'm retired, so I'm not looking to do anything elaborate or anything like that. It's really like come together. That's why I said, well, we're doing everything's donation, we help carry, etc. So I don't have any extra money to do.
Ms. Williams, I understand that, and that's why it was I who suggested that we consider waiving the fee.
Please and thank you.
You're more than welcome. Any other questions or comments? That's what I was asking you. What's your pleasure? Should it be on the agenda for Tuesday to support? Okay. Trustee Williams? Clerk.
You all agree it's a good decision?
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry? You're not going to?
No, I will draw up what she wants me to draw up to alert the community to the event. But just, can I just say one thing? Madam Mayor, I don't want to be confusing, but I'm going to help Ms. Williams anywhere she needs to as far as making paperwork to present to the community. As far as the agreement, I agree it's a donation based, like we're all having a community yard sale, but we're not accepting money for it. And we're taking things out of our home, giving them to other people. But Madam Mayor, what you said, the only thing I think we need to do is clarify with the insurance company that we're having everybody on the grounds, and this is what we're doing, and that may require a quote next week, having some type of something written up by an attorney saying we're having a community giveaway on our grounds. That's the only thing I would recommend. That would have to be approved by the board, because if somebody gets hurt during the event, then we would be liable, and that's the only thing none of us want. But as far as being charged for that event, I don't think that's.
Exactly. So I see two nods. I'm going to look to my left. I see a third. I see a fourth. It will go on the agenda. I will communicate with our attorneys tomorrow to ask them to draft something for us, so then we will have something to approve next Tuesday. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You got my number?
Yes, sir.
Call me when you're ready. We'll get together at the library or something, and we'll put it all together. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. I have 4 items, and I'm hoping that we can walk through each of them without a whole lot of controversy. The first one is capital improvement. Now, we know that when you have any type of establishment, building, whatever, homestead, apartment life, it's important to maintain it. If you don't maintain it, slowly but surely it erodes, and then you look up out of no place and it looks like a disaster zone. I'm hoping that I'm not exaggerating too much, but what I am going to ask each of the trustees to do, as you are in this space, as you're up there, as you walk through the hall, I'm going to ask that you carefully examine the carpeting. These are carpet squares. In here, it's not as bad, but the pathway that's used on a regular basis, it really needs to be cleaned. However, it really can't be cleaned. If you were to look at it, you're going to see how so much of it is coming up. It has become unglued, and I'm not certain if to glue it back down would be successful and then clean it, or I know to replace it will be very expensive, but we also know, well, from my research, it states that carpeting generally lasts 5 to 15 years. And this carpeting was placed here when the building was built, and that was 2007. So basically, it is past its life, and it's showing. I am not asking to do anything immediately. Anything that I am presenting at this point in time that requires a dollar figure, I would be asking for consideration in the upcoming budget, but not right now. Another area that really is crying for improvement is that parking lot leading from this building over to the police station. I'm certain if you drive that way, you will realize the bumps and everything, but you really notice it when you have to walk it. It was paved, if you want to call it that, about 4 or 5 years ago. Less than that, but it was done manually, opposed to using, the roller or the machine, and all of that. And right now, it's in great disrepair. So I'm going to ask the trustees to do that research too. Either walk the ground or drive through the parking lot, and you will see that we need to do something, because just like with the carpeting, if we don't fix it now, it's going to only get worse. And if it gets worse, the more worse it gets, the more costly it will be. So I'm just bringing it to your attention. There's no action needed at this point, definitely not for next Tuesday, but I just want you to be aware and look at other areas in the village hall that may need attention too. I know that that roof right out there in the foyer, a lot of times when you come through, you'll see that we have a bucket out there. When it's raining, we put a small patch on the roof, but it still needs to be replaced. Yes, ma'am.
What about our lighting in the parking lot? Coming inside the building, we need lighting. It's very dark out there. Also, I feel like we need to see if we can order new flags for Sauk Trail.
Yes. They're in the car.
Our flags for Sauk Trail, that's on Sauk Trail by the welcome sign.
And out here.
Those are very old, and it's not a good look for our town. Also, before it slips my mind, the announcement board. They tried to fix it, but I feel like it's a liability. So if we can do something else better with that as soon as possible, because I know we have a lot of children that, when school lets out or whatever, they walk in, they owe in that area.
You're absolutely right on all of them. The flags are in my cart, we replaced, I think, the United States flag several months ago. And I was reluctant to do the state flag, which the one on 394 you're talking about, it looks like a white sheet almost, and ragged. But that one, as well as the Sauk Village sign, is triple the amount of the United States flag. And that, I just didn't understand that piece. But I looked at it last week too, and regardless of the cost, it definitely needs to be replaced. So.
Also, I think that we should bring back the beautification committee. As far as more like the flowers on Sauk Trail by the welcome sign, we used to have flowers there.
But I know.
We used to have flowers in front of those big pots for the businesses. Do we have an update on the bucket truck and the truck that picks up leaves, because we still need leaf pickup very badly.
We talked about leaf pickup, the number of residents that send emails and or message me on Facebook has increased. And I spoke with Adam yesterday. I didn't speak to him. I texted him and sent him a copy of some of the messages I'm getting, and he stated that he will be taking care of it. In terms of the lights out here, we had spoken with a company, and the company initially said that it could, and this was like maybe a Monday or Tuesday, and he promised that it could be completed by that Friday. Well, that was more than 2 months ago. But we have been in communication with someone who was doing it very inexpensively for us, okay? Not the real high price or whatever, but you're right, as I came in today and the lights are flickering, and it's like, this makes no sense. But no, we definitely have to take care of that. We had a resident last week who, as she was leaving out, I guess it just happened to be a part where the light was flashing off, and she didn't see what I saw, and that was the black ice. And she slipped and she fell, and we cannot have that. I probably would have fallen if Chief wasn't with me and he saw me and he grabbed my arm, and then I looked down. But no, we have to, there are just certain things that, without debate, we must take care of.
Do you know also about the backup lights we had that was coming from, it was on back order from Canada? Yes, the Public Works Department ordered lights for the town. And from my knowledge and my notes from having a public service committee, it was on back order.
Do you remember what year that was?
It was at the ending of 2024, going into 2025. If you need me to pull my minutes, I can.
Thank you. And it was from Canada.
Yes, it was on back order from Canada.
You don't remember the name of the company?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll look at it. We'll look for it, but if you just happen to come across it, please share it. Okay? So, we all have a charge to do, and that is, let's look at maintaining and bringing back, looking at our capital improvements, okay? We have to take care of this village. I mean, I don't even want to mention the walls out there in that hallway and everything that needs to be painted. I don't even want to mention that. Not yet, because that's not a life safety issue. But if you just happen to be walking and you encountered some of the carpet that's up, and it just happened to be a bad moment, you could easily trip and fall. And we don't want that to happen to anyone. Yes, Trustee Burns?
Yes, so for the capital improvements, are we considering getting bids from companies to come in and possibly paint, also do carpet repairs? Are we looking at bidding these projects out?
I think that first we have to allocate the monies, and we won't do that until we start with the budget review.
I mean, is that the
then,
route you want to go?
Then, after the budget review, and if it's approved in the budget, then we go to that next step. But I thought that I would bring it to you now, because I know that we're going to start the budget review process soon. And so I wanted you to have an opportunity to express some improvements that you yourself saw, just like Trustee Johnson just did, but then also I want you to experience firsthand some of what I was talking about, because I'm not being just let's spend some money. I'm not, that's not the approach, but we do need to do some improvements. Okay? Okay, moving on. We've been having a number of individuals who need to attend remotely, and a couple of weeks ago when our attorney was here, he suggested that we take a vote. I followed up and we took that vote, but then, you know, some started sending me different code and everything, so it prompted me to do some research on my own, and I uncovered quite a bit of research. I also looked at what other communities are doing across Illinois, not just in our area, and so I communicated with our attorney, and he developed the resolution that you have in your packet right now. And basically, it is looking at the 4 items that is always a part of remote attendance. But then I asked him, because it was updated in January of this year, so I asked him to include some of that language as well, and he's done that. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to look at that resolution, and I'm open for feedback on it at this moment. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, the attorney said there was some changes to the remote attendance. And from what I see in the OMA, I mean, the only thing that was really updated as far as the OMA, I see they just added the military duty as part of the reasons. I don't think they changed anything as far as the meaning of what a meeting is.
No.
And they haven't changed the limitation of how many meetings we attend, because in the state statute it's saying that you have to have use 50% of our attended meetings. So if we count like with we count the committee meetings and the regular meetings, it's like 48 meetings. So from what I'm reading here, you want to have it at 4 times the calendar year. And I don't think that will work out for.
What page are you?
That's behind, yes, section 6, thank you.
Section 6?
Yes. And it says the trustees may participate.
I don't have a section 6.
That's on the back hand side of the
It's on the policy, it's on the policy.
It's on, yeah.
Not the resolution, there's a policy section. She's in section 6.
Yes, rights and limitations, section 6. And at the very bottom of that is saying trustee may participate remotely more than 4 times in the calendar year unless otherwise authorized by statute. Now by statute, they're saying 50% of our meeting times. So 4 times in the calendar year, I don't think that's going to work for individuals, because we don't know exactly what someone may go through within the calendar year.
Okay, I think what we need to do is to determine, is this statute or is it something that he developed, that he wrote?
Yes.
Okay?
Because the state statute is at 50%, and that 50% is not 4.
Okay.
When I read the state statute, I can see 50%. The state statute said that unless we choose to make amendments to and putting time restraints on each other, other than that, all you're required to do is call in for whatever emergency or whatever falls under that list. But there is no certain amount of time that we can not do remote.
But I say under the state statute 5 ILCS 120/7, section 7, it says that no more than the 50%. So that's 50% of our meeting time. That's what you can have, you know, as far as
Remote, that you
remotely,
can serve
to be
remotely.
yeah, to be attendee as remotely.
And like you said, how do you even determine that?
We keep attendance because you get paid
Out of
according to your attendance,
Right.
so.
Out
we
of
keep
48
record.
meetings, so basically, if you're going by about 50%, then half of 48, that means we can at least do remote 24 times out of a year.
But with the hopes that you will not
No.
utilize.
Of
the
course,
full
no,
time
but I'm
that
just
you
saying,
want.
according to those numbers, we could miss 20, and I'm sure none of us, I've never missed that many days in the 4 years I've been here. I don't think I ever will. But here and there, if we have personal things that we have to take care of, if we get sick, then we just do what we do, call in, give our reason, and keep it moving. I know, I did hear Trustee Johnson just say she had no comment to whether Trustee Winston can call in or what, because I just heard her say they rejected her for calling in. I wasn't here.
She didn't say all of that, but
But
okay,
she
you
just,
ain't
that's what she did. That's what she said. She said that's why I'm commenting, because I heard that and I wasn't here, so I didn't know all of that. Again, to what Trustee Sterling is saying, what Trustee Johnson is saying, there were two people, or there were votes, and again, I wasn't here to be a part of it, but from what I understand, people voted on them not to be able to call in, even after giving their excuse, which is legally what they were supposed to do, and they followed the rules. I don't think that we as trustees should be dictating any of our schedules.
Okay, I'm going to share this, though, in terms of my perception when the state statute is talking about if you have to work. I interpret it, and I may be inaccurate and I can stand to be corrected, but I take that to mean, say for instance you have a job, you have to be out of town for that job, and that job is at a distance, so much of a distance that there is no way that you could actually get back here to be in attendance at the meeting. As I said, that may be my interpretation, but I'm just going to ask for that consideration as we're looking at it. But I would think that to have to work 12 times, 24 times, 48 times, how do you work and still attend to the business of the village while you're serving remotely? That may be something to think about. I'm not certain, this is just a discussion, and it's something for us to all I would like for us to focus on.
We're very vague about that. They just say employment, so it's very vague. They don't break it down on exactly what areas of employment are we talking about.
And then that's when a lot of times when you look at what's the practice of surrounding or of neighboring communities, that's when they spell it out to a greater extent. And then that's when it's like the light bulb goes off and it's like, aha, that sort of makes sense.
So under these circumstances, I would not agree to amend the ordinance, because I don't want to put any chains or bind any of us for taking care of being sick, taking care of business, emergencies, or any of that. I would not want to amend it, because I don't want that on any of us.
Number one, it's not amending anything. This is developing a resolution. And that's where we fall short in a lot of instances. We don't have policy processes in place. Now, we've all had this conversation before. We don't have anything on the books to show what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. So if anything, this would be the opportunity to come up with what we can agree on, and we do it through resolution and then the subsequent policy. I think that it would behoove us to do that because we're lacking policy. We're lacking procedure. You sent me an email earlier today about a written policy, and I'm like, no, we don't have that written, but it's just the way we've been doing it. But we definitely, we have to start putting things in writing. Trustee Johnson?
I thought our procedure was to go through the clerk and inform her in an email what our action would be and what it's about.
Well, we did say that, but then we also asked for a reasonable amount of time. And what's reasonable for one person is not reasonable enough for another. When we look at what other communities are doing, they're talking 24-hour notice. And to me, that would be definitely overly burdensome because you cannot always anticipate what the need will be 24 hours in advance. That's a come. I'm going to still maintain this is out here today for our initial discussion. I think that your input has been quite valuable, and I am going to ask that you follow up with additional input as you are looking through it, and we revisit this another time. Yes, Ms. Trustee Johnson.
Do you think, because I don't think we should move forward with this resolution. I don't think that we're at agreement with it. I can only speak for myself, but I don't know about the other board members.
I believe that I just stated that it's something that we should continue to look at and provide adjustments and adoptions. I did not ask for it to come forward on Tuesday's meeting. Here's an opportunity to let's make it work for us. But acknowledging we need a policy to be written. We need something. We need something that's concrete. Make it your own is what I said. And I'm going to still ask that you look at this again, look at what some of the other communities are doing, and let's work together to at least get a resolution and a policy in place that works for you. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
So what's
just, I'm sorry, Trustee Jones.
I just wanted to know what is the quorum as far as, what is the quorum as far as for the vote? Because
for any vote we need 4.
We need 4. But wouldn't she be 4 if she was on the phone?
It was 3 of us in here at that time. It was 3. I made the 4th person. And the only time I can vote is if there's a tie. So that vote turned out to be 2-1. I'm still here. I count as a quorum. The only time I can vote is to break a tie.
So out of the 3,
2-1 is what happened that day.
From what I heard, y'all 2 was coming in.
That's not even a legal vote.
Yes, it was a legal vote.
How?
Because we had a quorum.
I mean, was that in a committee meeting or was that on a? Well, why are we voting in committee? Okay.
That's why we need a policy and a resolution. Please give me a minute. In place that can direct our paths, that's consistent and is not subject to further continued debate over the same thing. So I am going to strongly appeal to each and every one of you to provide input on this document. Trustee Johnson?
That Wednesday, for clarification, it was a committee of the whole. From my understanding, they did take a vote for me to be in attendance over the phone. Prior to that, I emailed the clerk, like I always do, informing her that I had to work. I work with special needs children. So, I'm gonna leave that there. I don't see how it came up for a vote. I don't feel that it was right. We was at a committee of the whole. We never supposed to vote at a committee of the whole, no matter what. This is why I need my board members to learn y'all material. Please.
And it was the attorney who provided.
Well, he was wrong.
But I'm just saying, it was the attorney who provided that advisement, okay? So, I do believe, I do agree wholeheartedly again with Trustee Johnson. We all must learn Robert Rules of Order to a great extent. We also must learn to do some of our own research and look at what are the precedents that take place in other communities, because when it comes up as a legal issue, that's what both sides count on, and that is what passed, what prevailed in the past. Yes, Trustee. And then we're going to move on.
Okay, because I wasn't here, and I'm hearing bits and pieces. My question is, what prompted this in the first place? We have state statutes that governs what we do, and we have been following those statutes. We have been calling in, giving our reason, and we've been doing it in the allotted time available. So what prompted all of this?
Because we really have not been doing it the correct way, and I responded to that directly, I believe, by sending an email to you where I specifically stated that what's in the statute, it says trustees will approve, the board members rather will approve whether or not another person that needs to sign on remotely is able to do that. The only way you can approve something is to do what? You have to vote on it. But it definitely, the language say, you will approve. And so, to me, until you take a minute, look back at the email that I sent you, and or refer to state statute yourself, you will see the language that I highlighted is exactly that. And so we can't keep going back and forth on that.
I just want to know what prompted this. Why are we doing it?
We're doing it because more and more people are attempting to attend remotely than before. And so in order to take care of the business of the village, unless there's an extreme emergency, we need you in your seats so that then when we come back to revisit something like this, you won't say, oh, well, I wasn't here, or I didn't hear that. It's best if we conduct the business of the village in this rotunda. I'm sorry. Let me go to the clerk because she had her hand raised and you've had more than 2 times to speak.
Thank you very much. For clarification purposes, there's a quorum and there's a physical quorum. In order to have remote participation, you have to have a physical quorum. And what happened that night was very unusual, okay, because we had three people at the table, trustees, and we had the mayor that was present. So we had a physical quorum, but we didn't have a physical quorum of voting members. So when you all developed this new policy, could you also put in there what is needed for a physical quorum to take place before voting on a committee meeting to vote whether or not attendance is going to be allowed. Because we had 3 trustees and the mayor, which is legitimately a physical quorum of board members. It was not a physical quorum of trustees. So for my purposes as the clerk, what I would like more clarification on is, when we come to do something like this, do we need a physical quorum of trustees, which are voting members? Because the mayor could not vote that particular night because we had 2 to 1. We already had enough to make a vote. But because she wasn't a voting member, we had 4 physically here, only 3 could vote. So my confusion about that night is what just happened. Because we have 2 trustees walking to the hallway, to the bathroom or whatever, and we have 3 physically at the table, and the mayor, and to this point, until I do the minutes, I won't know if we called the meeting to order before or after. So this is another thing. Before?
It was called before, and roll call had been.
So if the roll call was taken.
Let me just say one other thing. If it was a tie, I would have been able to vote.
Yes.
So that's a little contrary to what you just said. If it was a tie, I would have been able to vote, but it was not a tie. So when
I did say that though. I did say that. It was 2 to 1. It was 2 to 1. It was 2 to 1.
Okay.
Had there been 4 present, then the mayor could have broke the tie. That particular night, it was 2 to 1, with 2 trustees not having been accounted for. As the mayor recalls, the meeting had already been opened, which means we had 3 trustees to vote, not 4, not 3 in the mayor, because there was not a tie. So please clarify when you do this that what's a physical quorum, and it has to be done after the meeting is open, the amount of trustees present when the meeting's open, and the mayor only votes if there's a tie. Is that?
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
Your point. Thank you. Okay, can we move on, and can you, as you continue to explore this topic, just jot it down, and so that we can all see it, because I think that it's very, very important. But we know that we're not going to resolve it this evening. Let's move on to the resolution for the standing committees. I was asked to bring this back. So, as I always attempt to do when trustees ask something of me, I'm bringing it back. Know that I shared with you the night that it was asked to bring it back that I would not be changing the standing committees. No one stated, then let's let it go. So it's back before you now. The clerk says that there have been many versions of this, and I can't remember. All I can know and remember are the exact standing committees, and they are listed here. I remember each one of you who signed up for a particular committee. My only question at this point, because we have been doing this since May, we've been trying to get this passed since May, and so that's almost a year. Are you ready to vote on this at Tuesday's meeting? Because we've discussed it, we've talked about it, I've shared with you how other mayors were able to do it in the past, what they did in the past. You've seen all different varieties of the ordinance, and I honestly cannot say anything else than what I've already said. Okay, I think Johnson had her hand raised first.
This ordinance I have in front of me, number 2, the Public Safety Committee. I don't know if that's the one that you want to change, but I do know that you changed my old committee to Public Service Committee. Is this the right one that you changed me to?
Public safety. public safety, and it tells you exactly that it will assess and advise on public health, policing, fire safety, and emergency management. So public safety, that committee now, it bridges everything that is related to public safety.
So, I do have a question for you. I don't understand why our committees at that time were suspended because we voted this ordinance down. I know why I voted mine down is because you pulled my active committee away from me. Furthermore, I feel like we need to bring back the public service committee because that was an active committee.
And I'm going to remind you, oh, I'm sorry, you paused. Don't pause on me because I'll jump in.
You know what, go ahead. I'll come back.
Okay, and if I can remember correctly, the standing committees, this ordinance was brought to you shortly after I was sworn into office in May, okay? And it was voted down, so it's not I who took anything away from anyone. It was voted down, but I can recall that given the choice of all of these at a committee meeting, you opted to take on the ordinance review committee to the extent that we had the entire code book copied for you because you like to read at home at night. So we copied that entire book for you, and that's the committee that you had selected.
Correct. I did select the ordinance committee because you snatched away the public service committee, the only committee that was snatched away. No one else's committee was changed, only but mine. So, with that being said, I feel like we had that ordinance on the books of stating that the public service committee was an active committee. When you suspended our committees, because you're claiming that it was voted down, which it was, but when it got voted down, there was no way it should have been a suspended, everybody's committee should have been suspended. We should have went back to the original ordinance that had the public service on it.
That's your viewpoint. Thank you. Did someone else over here?
So do we not have a, clerk, do we not have an ordinance with that? With saying the public service committee?
The original ordinance, right?
Thank you. So
No,
when we voted
okay,
it
when
down,
you say
it should
the
have stayed back to the original
it
ordinance,
was the
Mayor.
ordinance that we had in between when Mayor Hanks was the mayor and I became the mayor. There are ordinances with specific standing committees that are basically derived from whoever the then mayor is. So please don't use the language that I took away or I suspended committees.
You did.
I didn't suspend, okay, we're not gonna debate
The whole board
that.
can say that. You suspended our committees because we wasn't able to hold the meeting. I was only able to hold 2 meetings that's on the books with the clerk.
And
for the
after
ordinance
you
committee.
guys refused to approve the ordinance, there were no committees to approve. So that's what
stated on a
happened.
video,
But
Mayor,
I
that you
can't go
suspended
back
our
and-
committees, no more committee meetings,
If
so we
that
couldn't even get
sounds
paid for our
better
committee
for you
meetings.
that I suspended
That's
them,
why we don't
I'm
have
not
committees.
going to admit to it, but you can use the language that
Exactly.
you desire. Is
So
there
my question to
someone
you-
on this side that has a question
I wasn't done.
or a comment?
Point of information, and I wasn't done.
What is your point of information?
My point of information is, will we be able to go back to
No.
our original
No,
committees?
and I shared that with you when people asked me to bring the committee ordinance back. I shared,
Okay,
and I
but your
stated
demeanor,
that
is it-
at
does
the
it have to be
very
like that?
beginning. I'm sorry?
Your demeanor, does it have to be like that?
Yeah,
No.
it does, because it doesn't seem
Oh,
as
that's
if you're
unacceptable,
listening.
Mayor.
Okay,
I'm
and I
supposed to be
thank
very
you for
clear.
that.
I'm
No,
trying to
I stated the
hold
last
Jerky
time.
accountable for snatching the Public Service Committee away from me.
Thank you.
That was a
Anyone
very important
else?
committee. This is why this board voted it down.
Thank you. And it's in the minutes why, and that you voted it down. And if you voted it down, then that means I didn't suspend it.
You
Did
stated you
anyone
suspended it,
else?
so if that's the case, why we wasn't holding committee meetings then? Board members.
Because you guys
You did
refused to
not allow
approve
us to hold board members, meaning you took an extra $125 away from us every month.
If that's your concern.
You
at
stated
this point.
suspension. Do I have to email you the video footage? Because my
No,
camera's
I
right
don't.
there.
I don't trust you or
Well,
the video.
The video is
because
speaks for
a lot
itself.
of
It
times
shows
they're
you.
tampered. Okay,
No, it
I
shows
see
you
us-
stating
I
what you
see
stated,
us
Mayor.
moving
So,
in a
therefore,
excuse me.
can we bring back the Public Service Committee?
No.
That was the only active committee in
No.
this town that did something. I still
Okay,
have
I'm
one, two,
going
three,
to move
four people in
on.
the audience that was a member
No,
of
I
that
am
committee.
going to ask the other trustees, shall this ordinance as presented be included on the upcoming board meeting for consideration? Well, I kept asking, does anyone have questions or
Okay,
something?
well, I'm ready now.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to ensure we're creating a structure that's clear to the residents and efficient for the volunteers. I want to fully understand so we can avoid overlap and operate efficiently. So you gave me the Committee of Public Engagement.
I gave you?
You gave it to me. I didn't sign up for anything. That's what
That was the last one.
That was the last
So I didn't
one.
give
So
it
I
to
was
you,
stuck
it was
with that
the
one,
last
right?
one, yes.
Okay, so I was stuck with public engagement when we have an events committee. So, I just wanted to ask a few questions
Okay.
and community
Just ask
engagement. As far as for those two committees, they both are centered on bringing the community together, communicating with the residents, and increasing participation. This is why they are essentially serving the same purpose in different forms. So I have a question as far as to you, Mayor. What specific responsibilities belong to public engagement versus the events committee?
The
And what is
committees, I'm sorry.
and what is the outcome of having two committees that kind of appear similar in the same scope?
Thank you for that question. If you can remember, when the committees were first brought, they came with an active description and really goals for each of the committees. That was rejected because we were told that it sounds like a job description, and so it was resisted. So then we whittled away with it, and this is all that's left. There are a number of activities and or events that can be adopted if there was a committee to plan them. That's all. I understand you have wonderful event planning skills. I can't remember what the vote was. Do you remember?
Yes. I think it's 3 to, she
It was 3 to 1. Okay.
There was a no vote.
You said you didn't. Okay, I think that we can express displeasure without expressing disdain. So we've been doing good. Let's de-escalate.
I'm not doing that. Or you're about to talk, speak on Ms. Dr.
You did say.
Trustee.
Trustee Dr. Winston is just called in. She's not her way. She may come before the end of the meeting. But she's calling in now because she's in the room. So earlier, the mayor asked, would you allow her to call in? 3 said yes, 1 had no vote, which I'm taking as an exception.
Okay, so then, I don't agree with no voting.
call in, no one picked up my call. And now we need to establish, are we going to do phones, personal phones like that, like we were doing, or are we going to do the system with the number you gave me? So I need to know.
We're supposed to be doing the system with the number that was given. However, there was a couple of glitches last week. It was the first time, so we're hoping that you can be understanding that everything didn't flow. Why we're calling and she's calling in now, I have absolutely no idea. We had come up with a system that did work, and you could hear, but
Mayor, may I get it?
no, thank you. No, because, oh, you were talking a few minutes ago. We are on another topic. Keep it in mind. No, we're
There
not.
was 2 trustees that tried to call in last week.
Excuse me, you're
That's
still
why you came
talking.
up. Yes,
No,
I am.
you're still,
You're
okay.
disrespecting me.
No, I'm not. I am asking us to go back to the topic at hand, which is item 2B3. That's what we were talking about. So no, we're not just going to jump. That's okay, baby. Okay, were you finished, Trustee Jones? Trustee Jones, we are continuing.
Point of
Trustee
information.
Jones. No, thank you. I'm not
Point of
accepting it.
information.
Trustee Jones.
Point
no.
of information. Mayor, you must acknowledge a point of information when it's called on the floor.
And today, you know what you can do? You can write a FOIA, do it, send it through PAC, wherever it is
I don't
you
have to
need
write
to
a
go,
FOIA. Break the law
because
right now.
we
So again,
have
point of
an
information.
agenda
Will
on
you
the
acknowledge my
floor.
point of information?
Continue, Trustee
Point of
Jones.
information.
Continue,
Point
Trustee
of
Jones.
information. This is what you gotta do when you need to get acknowledged. Point of information.
Trustee.
Point of information.
Clerk, I'm going to ask, we can't hear what she's
Point
saying.
of
No,
information.
because we have this one going, point of information, and you on the phone.
Take care of my business.
Thank you, take care of your business.
Point of information.
Okay. Trustee
Point of
Jones,
information.
will you continue?
Point of information.
If not,
Point of information. Mayor, are you going to acknowledge my point of information
no, I
that's on the
told you
floor?
that I'm not going to. I've answered that question already. I am not acknowledging.
So we're not
your
following
point.
the laws of government.
You're
That was-
absolutely right. We are following
You
this
like
agenda.
to continue to
Let's
stay in
go.
court. That is a shame, residents.
It's a shame.
Our
It's a
leader
shame that
of
you're
our
so
town.
oppositional.
Point of information.
Okay, let's move back to, girl,
Point of
let's move
information.
back to 2B3. You were asking questions regarding the Community Engagement Committee. Know that in the middle of your asking a question, we attempted to have a whole nother discussion on a topic that had taken place earlier, and then another person just interrupted you with a point of information. I'm not allowing you to be disrespected that way. So I am asking, do you have anything else that is relating to the last agenda item for which we were discussing?
Okay, no disrespect, but, you know, I did want to know what was going on as well. And this young lady, I thought that she was on her way. So, as long as we got that resolved, sorry, Ms. Raven, trustee. But I still didn't get a direct answer when it came to having two of the same committees that.
And it's really not two of the same committees, because when you consider,
I just gave a look, I'm sorry, but I just gave a little list out as far as in the comparison. I wanted to know, you're saying it's in collaboration with them. So, you know, when it comes to that, I'm working with the events committee. public engagement and the public events.
My thing is, there are numerous events, numerous holidays that we can celebrate that would strengthen relationships between residents and businesses and local organizations. In fact, we have one coming up next week on the 26th that I'll be discussing later, which is with the businesses after hour. So, as a community engagement committee, you in your committee, if you have one, would have every license to present activities, events that you felt would be important. And right now, we really don't even have a mayor's office of special events committee, because I feel as if, for the most part, I'm a committee of one and have just a couple of people who helps when they desire. But, as I said, there are too many events. There's Black History Month, the month of February. We have, and I'm not throwing this out to say this is one that you could have or this is something that you can do, but to say you don't understand the difference. Okay, this office does not have every holiday, every event cinched. So there would have been many opportunities for you to develop your own activities and events if you chose not to work in collaboration with the mayor.
So
okay?
I'm asking, because again, it's similar responsibilities. It's pretty much the same thing, it's just different wording. Public events and events committee. And I think I had said this back then, but it'll pretty much be battle of the dates when it comes to certain things. If specifically you put in here, this is a collaboration and I'll be working with the events committee. So if we were to do something like that, I need to know as far as, okay, who would set the agenda as far as when it comes to collaborating? You know, who has the final oversight if there's a disagreement between committees and you're the president of that committee? You get what I'm saying? Who's going to be tracking and volunteering, volunteer management? And will each committee provide separate reports to the board? Thinking policy. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I
do
agree,
get what you're saying very well.
We don't want any unnecessary red tape. I want us to help
and
work smoothly together and not questioning leadership at all. I'm trying to make sure that my committee is effective and accountable to the board and the residents, okay?
Until we can approve this, you don't have a committee.
Okay, I don't have it, but that's the one that's going to be left for me, because that's the one that you want me to have.
No,
if we have
not
a choice,
the one that I
you all want to vote
you to have.
on which committees that you all want?
Because
if we can do that, well, I didn't.
Because it was the last one.
When did y'all vote? Was I here?
They didn't vote.
Was I
they
here?
came to me and stated which one they wanted. Tell me that.
I thought
Did
that
you
everyone
not state which committees you want?
What they would like.
Let me ask them this question and you hear. Because you keep saying we voted. They didn't vote. They came to me and told me which committee they wanted. Did you not tell me which committee? Did you not tell me which committee? Did you not?
My committee, so I had no choice but to take the orders committee.
You were the first one.
Yeah, because you took my committee.
Okay, so I didn't tell people what to vote. We didn't have a vote. I didn't tell them.
So
You're the one.
It was first come,
And that's what it was always stated. So it was always stated that. So now, this is it though. This is it. This is it. This is it. Okay? Because we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this if it's not going to come to a vote next Tuesday. It's moot. If we don't vote on it, then there is no need to keep having all of this discussion. As I said, we've been going back and forth, around and around, to the point that some resident in a public comment one time said to us, you guys, you're voting on the same thing over and over. After it's voted for, why do you keep bringing it back? And I'm only bringing it back this time because I was asked. But if you know we don't want to vote on this, there's no need for us to have continued discussion.
I just want a clarification on the responsibilities of
That's something.
what are we doing and versus with the. I want to know everything that's going to be aligned as far as with our committees, and if we're going to be working together, I'll be excited. But as long as we have everything in writing, so there won't any thing clash.
So let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Let us clearly define the parameters, okay, of events, which events, how it's going to be reported, once we decide if you're going to have an ordinance identifying committees. Without that, we really don't have a lot to discuss at this point other than, do we want this to come for a vote again at Tuesday's meeting? Do you have a question?
I do. I understand where Trustee Jones is coming from, because the big word there is collaboration. This is the only committee I see that has a different structure. Everybody else's committee is saying this committee, this committee, this committee, which means they have control over their committee. When you use the collaboration, you're saying that's you and another person, so you can't really say that that's her committee. And I think that's the issue. I don't want to speak for Trustee Jones, but from my point of view, I think that's what the issue is. I think that language should be changed. I think you all need to work together, get this changed before it comes up for a vote, because it's misleading.
Thank you for that. I truly appreciate that. And I'm willing to work between now and Friday to come up with a language that is amenable. I'm willing to bring this to one more vote, and after that, it's a done deal until we have a new administration. Are you willing to work with me between now and Friday to change the language in number 5 that is suitable for you? Are you willing to work with me to do that?
Yes.
Thank you.
I want to say this. I understand that it may seem simple right now.
It does.
And I'm just thinking long term. Once volunteers and events grow, structure becomes important. I want to make sure that we're getting set up for success.
Okay, so we'll do that between now and Friday. We can resolve that right here today. So between now and Friday, we will discuss what needs to be done. We won't write it all the way out as a policy, but we will come up with something that you yourself is comfortable with. Can you agree with that? Thank you. Let's move on. The last item that I would like to bring, keep in mind, this is not right this minute. This would be something that, unlike before, it will go in the next budget. This time, we want to be totally transparent. We want everyone that can be involved in this, involved in it, and that is the 50-50 program. It was done, what was that, in 24, I believe, and none of the trustees even knew that the 50-50 program had been brought back. Select individuals were included. That's when, if a resident had faulty pavement, in front of their homes, they can choose to pay 50% to get it done. The village would pay the other 50% to get it done. If you can remember that company, I think DMC was engaged to do that, even though we never did a RFP or had a contract with that individual. This time around, we will do it the correct way. We do not want the fact that we are engaged in a lawsuit with that particular company because it was not done correctly. We don't want our residents to be penalized for getting their pavement done if we can be a service to them as well. So, I want to know, we're not voting on the 50-50 sidewalk program on Tuesday night. Again, it's just something I'm attempting to be very proactive, to give you as much time to focus on what needs to be focused on so that you're making an informed decision. So, I provided information in the packet on the 50-50 program. I would ask that you read through it, see what you think of it, and we will address this matter again when it's time for budget review. Yes, ma'am?
How many residents have used this program? Do we know?
I honestly do not know. I think the last time that it was around, it was, I would say, a minimum of 30. But I really believe it was more, but I don't want to. I think that before we discuss it again during budget review, I will have researched it and I can provide that information to you at that time.
Okay. Yeah, just
Okay.
one more. Because I'm thinking about the seniors and, you know, helping them apply and stuff. Can we offer payment plans because you said that 50-50? Or do I have to have all of the money in front? Do we know that?
We know that whoever the contractor is, who if we decide on, that they have to be paid upon completion of the work. So, yeah, they would have to. It stands to reason. Okay? Trustee Sterling?
Yes, for the 50-50 program, so the sidewalks, we're talking about the sidewalks from our house, right, from the curb there. So this may be off subject, but about the sidewalks where like the trees are pushing up the sidewalks, is that considered to be part, could that be part of the 50-50 program, or is that the village?
If it's in the parkway.
No, this is part of the sidewalk in this particular area. The tree is like, the roots are like, it's pushed the whole sidewalk up.
And they need to replace, I would think that they should be able to do that. I mean, they would probably be responsible. This is not something, I mean, I'm not dictating anything here, okay? So before this, as you can see, it says announcement only. So before this is implemented, we will do everything to make it legal, and at that point in time, it would be for you to decide the constraints that it would require and or the amount of leeway that we would want to give. I would think that if a resident had a tree that I'm certain probably started off as a weed and that's just blossomed, they would still be responsible. They would be responsible for the tree part. We could assist the 50-50 part. This is just my speculation, okay? With the 50-50 pavement piece. But the tree coming down, they would definitely have to ensure that.
How could we find that out? Who would we need to
reach out to it for that.
To do what?
For about the tree, to determine, you know, if there's something that the homeowner, or is it the village that's responsible for it?
If it's on, it depends on which side of the parkway it is. From a resident's home to the sidewalk, okay? Everything that's on this side of that sidewalk is the homeowner. The parkway, which is right at the curb, that area, that's the parkway. That's what the village is responsible for. Okay. Well, don't hate to say it. If it's what we need to do, it's what we need to do. Okay. If it's in the parkway, that's us. What?
This is something that when ComEd or the village has to put something in front of our homes, but in the parkway, you know they tear that up pretty badly. They dig it all out. So is the village coming back to fix all of that?
If it's ComEd that's doing it, ComEd is responsible for restoration from the work that they're doing. The village is responsible for restoration when we have a water main break and, you know, we're having to dig into someone's yard or whatever. We're responsible for that.
Okay, so if ComEd doesn't come back and do it, then it falls on the resident?
No, they need to go to ComEd and insist, however way that they can, that ComEd do the work that they were supposed to do. I know I had to do that with ComEd, okay, in my backyard when they did some repair and never followed through.
Did you get them to
Yes, but I didn't have to file a lawsuit or anything. You know, sometimes you just have to keep at people to make them do what they're supposed to do, okay? Any other questions where that's concerned? So think about it. Think about the what ifs and all of that, okay? And we'll explore it again before it goes to our attorneys and we proceed further with bringing the program into implementation. We do not have an executive closed session, clerk? Okay, so we'll go to public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate, counter replies, or rebuttals. I will attempt to respond to questions or comments if at all possible. So, if you are interested in having public comment, I'm going to ask that you get in line now. If you have public comment, I'm going to ask that you get in line now. And I'm going to say it for the third and last time. If you wish to have public comment, please get in line now. So, from where I can see, the last person is the gentleman with the hat on. Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. Sharon Davenport. I just wanted to bring some clarity and help you guys. I have your question on the 50-50 program because for years I would come and try to get that taken care of because the tree on the parkway tore up my yard tore up my plumbing, and I would always come up here to appeal, and at the time they said that it was my responsibility, and I was like, wait, why is it mine? It's your tree on your parkway, and it's tearing up my sidewalk, and I'm in the school zone, and trying to get them to help me with my plumbing, and it all fell on deaf ears. It never worked. I was told that I was responsible for it, and that at the time they had a 50-50 program, but there was never any advertisement for the 50-50 program. But then again, like you were saying about the financial part of it, having to come up with that money, I wound up just leaving it, and the only thing they did with the tree was just cut down the parts that they thought were bad, even though the whole tree is still bad out there, and tore up my car with the glass, and that was never refunded from the village when I replaced the glass in my car, and they said it's for the beautification of the community. So yes, that parkway, they leave it on the residents to do the 50-50, but it needs to be advertised if you all are going to do it, so people actually know that the program exists, not come up here complaining, and that's how we find out. That would be great if you let people know. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Know that it will be advertised to a much greater degree than it had been in the past.
Yes, I'm Francine Anderson, and I have some comments. First of all, Mayor Pruitt, you have brought back this standing committee piece. I don't know, I think this is about the third or fourth time. Isn't it true that since it's been voted down, you keep bringing it up for reconsideration, but don't you just go back to the other standing committees so that this town is functioning on some kind of committee level instead of just having people do nothing? The other thing is with the capital improvement, I don't know, do we have any impact fee monies that's going to help pay for those capital improvements, or is that just going to be something that's budgeted? My other thing is that I really do like the proposal that was brought by Ms. Williams on trying to help us to declutter and to reach out to other residents. Again, I'm interested in the 50-50, but we have a lot of mature trees in this town. So these mature trees are tearing up the sidewalks as well. So I'm just wondering if you shouldn't have that as a capital improvement project instead of having it just a 50-50 where the residents are still paying. So maybe we could look at switching that to a capital improvement. The other thing is I want to make a statement from last week's meeting, and that is that Trustee Jones asked Mr. Finch in this meeting were there going to be a cost to looking into the new fitness and for the new golf center, and he said there would be no cost. There is no way that anyone is going to do a study or research for bringing in a new business that's not going to cost us anything. So I would hope that you would spend time with your interim administrator and make sure that he is not giving out false information that the citizens will tend to think is true. So I think that was very important, and I think it was very misleading, in that for the fact of when we are trying to bring in new businesses, that we are honest and that we are upright with the citizens and the people that are listening and who wants to be truthful about where our tax money is going. And if our tax money is going to be going for a study in order to bring in those new businesses, then that should be well said and told, because the trustee asked, and I was sitting here, and she was giving that false information. And so I would hope that that would be corrected in some kind of way. And last but not least, I would like to say that I don't know when the Black History Month program is, I don't know if we have one or not, but if not, then happy Black History Month to all, and thank you, trustees, for what you do.
Any answers to the questions, or was that the officer's statement? I'm just checking, so I'm not sure. Is there any answers? Ms. Anderson? No? Okay. Before I get started. David Smith, resident.
Oops.
Number one, regarding remote attendance. I feel like, and not even I feel like, the last couple of weeks, your new remote attendance policy has been implemented before it was even voted on. And you stated that last week. Why are we taking actions without votes? That goes against the laws of governance. That sounds something like a dictatorship. If the trustees and the board doesn't vote on it, the mayor doesn't have sole authority to do anything without an executive authority. Let's start there. Now, let me continue on. You stated, Madam Mayor, and I'm giving you the utmost respect, that you don't trust the video and you don't trust the trustees. Well, who do you trust?
I didn't say I didn't trust.
No, well, I'll tell you what, and please don't interrupt me, because I didn't interrupt you. And I'd expect 10 seconds more of my time for the rude interruption that I received. At the end of the day, I'd like to refer to the footage that I just recorded, because you just stated you don't trust the audio or the video. Well, who do you trust? Because if I play you the video back that shows you saying that you suspended all current committees, then what are we talking about? Because you, Madam Mayor, you canceled all of the committees. You said, you know what, if I can't have it my way, there will be no committees other than the mayor's office of public events, whatever it's called. Excuse me if I'm a little off, but I'm a little heated right now because I'm a little emotional and I'm trying to keep it respectful at this point. Point of information. Robert's Rules of Order. It's basic. If Trustee Johnson asks for a point of information, your duty and your job as the person that oversees these proceedings is to acknowledge that point of information. Not to say, because I don't want to hear what you're saying, I don't want to acknowledge it. Where do we do that at? Sounds like out of the book of Tiffany Henry. Why are we doing that? To say that they didn't vote. Yes, they did. They voted at least 3 times to knock down your changes to the committees. Because you can't get the ball your way. You just want to say, cancel them all and I'll just keep my committee. It's not supposed to be like that. It's really not. It's really not. What about changing the system of committees and calling information? Your call-ins are terrible. We have trustees who can't be heard, this and that. Change your technical behind the scenes so that they can be heard, so that they can respond, instead of denying them their voted on upon rights.
Time, sir.
To represent us.
Trustees, general comments? Anyone have any?
No questions, no answers.
Okay, general comments. What we need to clarify, and I want to go back to this whole phone calling situation. We start meetings at 7 p.m. At what point can we still call in after we have already started this meeting and still be considered, get credit for the meeting and be a part of the meeting? Now that we do need to get, really need clarification on that.
That is something that you all will decide and determine. I know almost every organization that I'm in, that if you're not at a meeting for at least 50% of that time, then your attendance is not counted. But we've not had that here, so if that's something that you want for consideration moving forward, it still needs to be entertained, policy, procedure, resolution, however we're going to do it.
Okay, and then the other is, I will still say this, so many of these ideas fall under economic development. Almost all of it.
Not from this paper.
Yes, these things, capital improvements, those things fall under economic development. 50/50 programs, that fall under economic development. Beautification of our village, the lights, everything that we're talking about, all of that falls under developing this community one way or another. And then all of our committees, the things that we are required to do or need to do, most of that stuff falls under economic development. We need a team, you guys. We do need a team that can work with us, that can research grounds as far as the miniature golf is concerned, as far as the path, the exercise path is concerned, the finances, the legality of it. Because all of us are still working so individually, and when we do come up with events and programs, we don't have a team to really work collectively with. And that is going to be a problem, and it's been a problem, because we don't have a true team to research all of the stuff that we say we want to do. It all falls under building up this community. It is economic development, because everything we do is going to cost money. Everything we do, we're going to bring in teams. Everyone, we need contracts. We need all of that. And it's not happening, and I'm thinking it's not happening because we can't decide individually on how to move, and we're not voting on things because everybody has their own individual thought process of what should and shouldn't be done.
Trustee, may I ask, what's your opinion of the difference between community development and economic development?
The difference, there's really is no difference, because it depends on the size of and scope of project. So if we're talking about lights, we know that we had a company come in to charge us $77,000 just to change light bulbs. But then we have a company that will come in, get grant, and implement a whole smart system, which would include lights, security, safety, everything. So they're both helping the community, but to what extent? We're talking about the sign, the marquee. Well, okay, we have a marquee. Is that marquee really beneficial to the community? But we do have a company that will come in and put marquees on every single light post, and we can make money. We have a situation yesterday where I found out yesterday as a trustee, because they called me. A owner of a business got his car towed while he was in his business doing work, and the company came and towed his car from in front of his business. Okay, these things are all under economic development. We're developing our community however you look at it. And so I don't think we can make progress until we do that. No.
Okay.
Everyone's voting their own individual way, and nothing's getting done.
Thank you. Anyone else? Trustees, any comments? No comment? No comment? Trustee Winston, any comment? Thank you. Anyone else? The only thing I want to remind you and to point out, business after hours is on the 26th of this month, but if I'm not mistaken, the school district's Black History Month program is that exact same day. It starts at 5 o'clock. I would be hard pressed to get there at 5 and then to be back here at 5:30, but I am going to just really ask as many trustees as possible be in attendance for our business after hours. This is not an event that is open for the public per se. It is a focus on building relationships and resources for our business community. So please try to come. Yes.
Events
understand. I do understand that point, but another thing that we have to look at, where this is concerned, a lot of our businesses, busy day is on the weekends, and they feel that they have to be there during their business hours. So that's how come it's called business after hours. And that's where this one is concerned. It depends on the program and the event, but I do understand those of you who have to work cannot necessarily attend everything, but all I could do is to say, do your very best to do what you can.
I just wanted to be clear because I don't want to hear they say, well, this trustee is not at this event, this trustee is not at that event. No one wants to know that it is a reason that we're not at these events, and when we're able to go to these events, we are there.
Well, I appreciate your speaking for yourself. Thank you. Anyone else? With that being said, may I? Oh, and one other thing, as I was doing the research also, as long as you have someone remote, then regardless, you have to do a roll call vote. So in the past, when we just say all in favor, we cannot do that when we have someone on remotely. So let's get ready to take a vote. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:50?
So moved.
Okay, I'm going to ask that again, and this time I'm going to ask you to raise your hand because you all were exactly the same time. So, may I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Trustee Johnson. May I have a second? I've asked for the hand. She raised her hand. So, Trustee Johnson, motion. Trustee Jones, seconded. And can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Trustee Burns. Yes. Trustee Jones. Yes. Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Savage is absent. Notice. And Trustee Sterling.
Yes.
Trustee Dr. Winston. Yes.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. See you next time around.